Hello and welcome to the interview on France 24. We are in Jericho in the West Bank today, and my guest is Mr. Saeb Erekat. Thank you very much for being with us. You are the Palestinian chief negotiator, and a few days ago we saw the US president deciding to cut massively the financial aid to UNRWA, the UN office for Palestinian refugees. The United States will now give only $60 million a year instead of 125. Is this something even more important for you than the decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel last month?
It's in the same package. I believe President Trump now is trying to dictate rather than negotiate with us. He decided unilaterally to declare Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Now he decided to cut 52% of the budget of UNRWA, United Nations Relief and Work Agencies. So I think both Netanyahu and Trump are trying to dictate the issues on us. And then they tell us, come here, we know what's best for you. You don't accept this, we're going to cut aid, we're going to smear you, we're going to punish you, and so on. We have spent 18% of our budgets as a Palestinian Authority in the last 3 years on the refugee camps in order to prevent the murderers of Daesh, ISIS, and the criminals to recruit any Palestinian. Now what will be the effects of President Trump's decision? Hundreds of thousands of children will not go to schools, will not get medical care. People will starve. So he's opening the refugee camps as a recruiting camp for all extremists in this region. Because that's how things will happen. That's how it's translated. This is an international responsibility. These Palestinian refugees did not become refugees because of a volcano, a tsunami. They became refugees because the United States helped establish Israel and helped evict 950,000 Palestinians of their homes. So it's an international responsibility. I hope that France, with others in the international community, will immediately move to fill the gap and to help UNRWA sustain its activity. It's only moral.
You had the first answer. The Central Committee of the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, asked to its executive committee to freeze the recognition of Israel until there is a Palestinian state in the 67 borders. Is this a threat among others, or will you really do this?
I'm a member of the Central Council. I'm a member of the PLO Executive Committee. I think the Central Council, which is the second highest legislative body of Palestinian politics, have taken decisions, very serious decisions. Number one, they reiterated our commitment to international law, to Security Council resolutions, General Assembly resolutions, to the two-state solution. And they passed a recommendation to us saying that we should suspend our recognition of Israel till Israel recognizes the state of Palestine. Because what's happening now? For 23 years, we have recognized Israel's right to exist. We have entered into negotiations. We have condemned violence. And we have been pursuing the path of negotiations to save lives of Israelis and Palestinians. And on the other hand, you have a Netanyahu government that has done nothing since 2009 to dictate more settlements, home demolitions, confiscation of lands, destroying the two-state solution, and trying to create one state, two systems, apartheid.
So you will really do it?
Look, if the two-state solution is being destroyed, no Palestinian will accept to live in an apartheid system. And the alternative to two states, either one state with equal rights, which the Israelis will not accept under any circumstances, or one state, two systems, apartheid, which Palestinians will not accept. So what can we do? We're not sustainable. So we will end up very soon with Israel, the occupying power, being in charge from the River Jordan to the Mediterranean. So I don't need Trump's money, because Netanyahu, as an occupying power, will have to pay the salaries, the refugee camps, the teachers, the doctors, the nurses, and so on.
So are you telling me there will be only one state now, because the two-state solution you just said is over now, it's dead?
Because President Trump in his speech said he's not against two states if the two sides agree. So he gave Netanyahu a veto on the two states. You know, President Trump, since he came to office, his administration refused to even announce their acceptance of the two-state solution in 1967. They refused to announce their condemnation of settlement activities. And what the peace process requires are real peacemakers, not real states agents. What is he doing? He's burying the two-state solution. The alternative to a two-state solution, all right, is not Palestinians and Israelis living in peace. It's more bloodshed. It's people, Palestinian mothers disappearing, because all the decisions taken by President Trump is only killing and destroying people like us, Palestinian moderates, Palestinians who believe in negotiations, Palestinians who don't want to use violence, Palestinians who believe in saving lives of Israelis and Palestinians, and who have recognized Israel. So if Netanyahu doesn't want a two-state solution, by the way, he's not a two-stater, and we don't have a partner in Israel for peace. That's the truth. Netanyahu's government is the most extremist since 1948.
So U.S. Vice President Mike Pence will be in the region on Monday and Tuesday. Mr. Abbas refuses to meet him. You do not want anymore the United States to play any role in a peace process, which today is dead. There is no peace process. But who can do this? Is the Europeans, the French? We saw President Macron quite involved since last month, but it's hard to imagine Israel and the United States let someone else do this.
Number one, we did not seek to confront the United States. We did not seek to have a fight with the United States. We did not seek to poke the United States in the eye. I think by these decisions, the U.S. have disqualified itself from being an arbitrator in the peace process. So that's what we're saying. Now, if you recall, in 1993, it was the smallest country on earth that led Palestinians and Israelis to make peace. It was Norway. So when conflicting parties want to reach peace, it doesn't matter who will interfere. But I think the American behavior of the Trump's administration is rewarding Netanyahu and making Netanyahu and his government take more extremist measures. After their decisions, they voted in the Knesset to change and amend their basic law so Jerusalem cannot be negotiated now. And the Likud party voted unanimously to annex the West Bank. So after he decides, he says Jerusalem is off the table. And he says, UNRWA, we're going to cut the aid. And settlements we will annex to Israel. What is left for negotiations? In our meetings, I held 35 meetings with American officials last year, including 4 with President Trump. In each meeting, President Trump promised that he will not impose a solution, he will not dictate a solution, that he will be fair, and he will deliver the deal of the century. And then he's imposing in Jerusalem, threatening to cut our aid, cutting the aid of UNRWA, and then at the end of the day he wants to be an honest arbitrator? How can this happen? How can this happen?
So you mean Donald Trump is a liar?
But the American president promised not to impose, not to dictate, promised to be fair. And by doing such actions to UNRWA and to Jerusalem, he's not being fair. And he disqualified himself from being an honest arbitrator between the two sides. And I cannot understand people who are more Catholic than the Pope. I cannot understand people who are more Israelis than the Israelis. But that doesn't mean I don't want peace. That doesn't mean I don't want negotiations. Because Israelis and Palestinians need peace. And the only solution is a two-state solution on the 1967 lines.
Mr. Erekat, when will the Palestinians be finally allowed to vote, to go for elections, and to choose their leaders? There was no election for more than 10 years now here.
Well, I hope we can do it this year. I hope we could have done it last year.
But we heard that very often.
No, we need to do it. We have a major split between us and Gaza. We need to reunify ourselves. I'm not saying that we are mistake-free people. I'm not saying that we don't commit mistakes. But we need to have elections. And we need to, when we differ as Palestinian parties, we need to go back to ballots and not bullets. So we're doing everything in our power now to achieve our reconciliation, our political partnership, in order to go back to our people through general national elections, presidential, legislative, and also elections for the PLO, PNC, Palestine National Council.
There is, you just talked about it, a Palestinian national reconciliation process between the Fatah in the West Bank and Hamas in Gaza. But how could this help peace? Because we can guess that Israel and the United States will never agree to talk to you if Hamas is part of your government.
And I don't think the US and Israel will agree to peace with me without Gaza and the West Bank being a single territorial unit, and without the Palestinian state being with one law, one gun, and one authority. I don't think there can be a state in Gaza or a state without Gaza. So Netanyahu is saying, who shall I make peace with now? The West Bank or Gaza? Because we're not united. That's how he finger points at me. So when I go to reconcile with Hamas through elections, oh, I cannot talk to you because Hamas. So what he's doing, he's tying my hands, tying my legs, and throwing me to the sea, and telling you, look, he's not swimming, he's not a partner. When he's drowning, he's not good. I cannot do anything without my reconciliation. I cannot have a Palestinian state without my reconciliation. He knows it. The Americans, Israelis, Europeans, they know this. All I hope now is that President Macron will lead, for the interest of France and Europe, will lead to sustain hope in the minds of Palestinians and Israelis that peace is doable. We don't want to kill hope. We don't want to give ammunition to extremists. Desperation leads to desperate acts. The most important thing for the international community today is to stand firm with international law, the rule of law, the two-state solution in 1967, the state of Palestine with East Jerusalem as capital to live side by side in peace and security with the state of Israel on the 1967 lines. That's what needs to be done. This is the unified message that should be transmitted to Palestinians and Israelis. We need to maintain hope alive. If we don't do that, it's the land of extremism.
Thank you very much, Mr. Erekat, for answering our questions, and thank you for watching this interview on France 24.